Hello and welcome to Unacademy, a one-stop destination for all English medium UPSC aspirants. Welcome to the first lecture on Science and Technology Current Affairs from the duration of January to May 2024. This is a part of Conquer Prelims 2025, a holistic crash course for the upcoming prelims. If you want to download the annotated PDF of this session, join the Telegram channel where you can find the PDF. You can also get updates about the future sessions in the same channel. Let us continue with the session now. The first topic is about how India celebrated the 2024 New Year's Day with the prestigious launch by ISRO, the XPoSat, X-ray polarimeter satellite. Before knowing about the X-ray polarimeter satellite, my voice is sounding very low, Kanchana, because I have a very bad throat infection, so kindly you should pardon me. I will try to speak as loudly as possible, but okay, that may again cause interruptions in my throat, so you should kindly cooperate and increase the volume in your devices. Okay. So let us continue with the first topic, the X-ray polarimeter satellite XPoSat. What is the purpose of XPoSat first of all? The main purpose is it is a deep space mission. Deep space mission means it is not to study about the moon. It is not to study about the other planets in the solar system. The purpose of this particular mission is to study about the objects which are far away in the deep space, even out of our solar system. So it is a deep space mission. Primarily what the XPoSat targets to study about? It will target to study about the black holes and neutron stars. What are the neutron stars? These are the collapsed cores of a massive star. When there is a supermassive star, stars bigger than our sun, and when their lifespan is completed, they will collapse. Once a supermassive star collapses, the leftover core is called as neutron stars. So in the deep space, what the XPoSat mission wants to study? Wants to study about black holes, neutron stars and many other objects. Right. How the XPoSat want to study about all these aspects? Okay, using the polarization of the X-rays. Then the next question that we will get is, what is the polarization of X-rays and what are the X-rays? X-rays are a part of electromagnetic spectrum. X-rays are a part of electromagnetic spectrum. And a spectrum is nothing but a range of wavelengths, or a range of frequencies. That is, waves ranging from longest wavelength. Like if you observe here the wavelength is very long, the waves are very spaced apart. And if you observe here, the waves are like this, the two waves are very closely placed. So this is low wavelength, this is longer wavelength. A range of wavelengths, okay, a range of waves from the longer wavelength to the shorter wavelengths. Okay, this range of waves is called as a spectrum. In the spectrum, the longest wavelength waves, the waves having the longest wavelength are the radio waves. Next comes microwaves, using which we cook the food, boil the food material and all those things. Infrared waves, which we have in our remote controllers and all that. Visible light, of course the VIBGYOR, violet, indigo, blue, green, orange, yellow, etc. ultraviolet light, the light that we know to cause skin cancers, and X-rays, the radiations that we use to take imaging of bone fractures and all those things, and the gamma rays are the highest frequency or the lowest wavelength, highest frequency or the least wavelength waves, and we use them in the cancer treatment. Now, in today's class we are speaking about, in this XPoSat we are speaking about only the X-rays. So X-rays are a particular waves in the electromagnetic spectrum, means they are electromagnetic waves. And as I told you, XPoSat studies the X-ray polarization. Can you please answer this? XPoSat primarily studies about what? Yes, I am checking your messages. You can keep answering through your messages. XPoSat primarily studies about the deep space like black holes, neutron stars. How does it study about the black holes, neutron stars, etc.? Using a particular principle called as X-ray polarization. Using a particular principle called as X-ray polarization. We understood what are X-rays, but what is X-ray polarization? Okay. I have given the definition of polarization here. Every electromagnetic wave will have an electric field and a magnetic field. Okay, that is the reason why it is called as electromagnetic wave. Every electromagnetic wave will have an electric field and a magnetic field. These two fields are perpendicular to each other. These two fields are perpendicular to each other. I mean, if the electric field is going in this direction, the magnetic field will be going in this direction, 90-degree angle. Now, what is polarization? Polarization is the direction of electric field of an electromagnetic wave. Electromagnetic wave will have both the fields, electric field, magnetic field. They both move in opposite directions, that is perpendicular directions, 90, not opposite, perpendicular directions. And what is polarization? Not the direction of the magnetic field. The direction of electric field of an electromagnetic wave is called as its polarization. I repeat, the direction of electric field of an electromagnetic wave is called as polarization. Which electromagnetic waves polarization we are studying here? Yes, answer please. Which electromagnetic wave, I mean microwaves or UV rays or gamma rays, which waves polarization we study here? X-rays. Therefore, this particular mission is called as XPoSat, X-ray polarimeter, because it will, meter means what? Measure. It will measure the polarization of X-rays. It will measure, meter means measure, it will measure the polarization of X-rays. By measuring the polarization of X-rays, it will study about the deep space, black holes, neutron stars, etc. Okay, now let us try to understand how does it study. Let us suppose there is a black hole or a neutron star, okay, then it is emitting the X-rays. They will emit the X-rays. Black holes and neutron stars emit the X-rays. Then we have our XPoSat here. XPoSat is here. The X-rays from the black hole or the neutron star are falling on our prestigious spacecraft called as XPoSat. And okay, depending on a few factors, like for example, the source of X-rays, I mean The X-rays, are they coming from a black hole, or are they coming from a dark matter? Are they coming from a neutron star? Depending on the source of X-rays, okay? This is a source of X-rays. They influence the intensity of X-rays. Intensity of X-rays. I hope you are all following this. Intensity of X. How strong X-rays are coming. Okay. For example, neutron star may emit high intensity X-rays, or some other dark matter may emit low intensity X-rays, or the frequency of X-rays. Frequency of X-rays. Frequency of X-rays, I mean to say, X-ray is also a range of frequencies. X-rays are also a range of frequencies from here to here, from here to here. So, the X-rays in this part have a comparatively low frequency. The X-rays which are here will have comparatively high frequency. Frequency of the X-rays plus, okay, the polarization of X-rays, polarization of X-rays, etc. Okay. So the intensity of X-rays, I mean how much X-rays are coming, how strong X-ray beam is hitting the XPoSat, the frequency of that X-rays plus the polarization of the X-rays. Okay. All these depend on one, the source of X-rays plus the surrounding objects. The surrounding objects. I mean, if there are any other objects, I mean to say these are the surrounding objects. If there are any other objects which are nearer to these black holes or neutron stars, they will kind of change the frequency or direction or polarization or intensity of the X-rays. So, what is the source of X-ray? Is it a black hole, neutron star, or a dark matter, etc. Plus, what are the other objects surrounding it? These two factors will influence the intensity of X-rays, frequency of X-rays, and the polarization. That is the direction of its electric field, all these things. By observing these things, okay, the XPoSat can detect, what is the source. The XPoSat can detect what is the source. This is about the X-ray polarimetry. I hope you understood this. Okay. Now let us see more details about it. Okay. ISRO launched its pioneering polarimetry mission XPoSat on 1st January 2024. The primary objective of XPoSat mission is the study of polarization. What is polarization? The direction of the electric field of an electromagnetic wave. It will study the polarization of what? The astronomical X-rays. Astronomical sources. What are the astronomical sources? Black holes, neutron stars, etc. And this XPoSat will carry two payloads. What do you mean by the word payload? The payload here refers to an instrument. The payload here refers to an instrument. This is located in the low Earth orbit. Low Earth orbit. Low Earth orbit is any orbit at a height of approximately 200 to 2000 kilometers. At a height of 200 to 2000 kilometers from the Earth. We call this as low Earth orbit. Okay. XPoSat carries two payloads in the low Earth orbit. What are they? The first one is POLIX. What is POLIX? This instrument, the instrument which will do, I just explained how the XPoSat works. Okay, the instrument that can detect what is the nature of the source and what are the surrounding objects based on the intensity, frequency and the polarization of the X-rays. Such instrument is called as POLIX. Polarimeter instrument, an instrument that can measure the polarization of X-rays. An instrument that can measure the polarization of X-rays. This is designed to make observations in the energy band. Okay, then you may get another doubt, what is an energy band? Let me explain this. I already explained what is a spectrum. What is a spectrum? A range of wavelengths or a range of frequencies. Okay, then what is a band? Band also same definition, a range of wavelengths or a range of frequencies. Then you may ask me, then what is the difference between band and the spectrum? Okay, we can say that band is a part of spectrum. Just like a word, we can compare band with a word. Okay, just like word is a part of a sentence. Okay, for example, if you see the electromagnetic spectrum from here to here, the complete range is called spectrum. If you take only from here to here, one small range, that is called as a band. Okay, so this XPoSat is designed to make observations in the energy band of 8 to 30 kilo electron volts, that particular range. The range is 8 to 30. Polix is expected to observe around 40 bright astronomical sources. Okay, the other instrument is XPECT. This is X-ray spectroscopy and timing. Utilizing spectroscopy, what is spectroscopy? This is an instrument to see the waves. This is an instrument to see or to detect the waves. Using spectroscopy, XPECT studies the electromagnetic spectrum generated by different matter. Okay, the XPoSat mission complements, ISRO launched this prestigious spacecraft XPoSat. Do we have any other similar instruments by the other space agencies? Yes. We also have NASA's IXPE. IXPE is the Imaging X-ray Polarimetry Explorer. Imaging X-ray Polarimetry Explorer. This is a similar instrument. Its working mechanism is also the same thing that I explained. Okay, but it is by NASA. Then what is the difference between NASA's IXPE and ISRO's XPoSat? IXPE will detect the X-rays from 2 to 8 kilo electron volts. Low energy. Low frequency X-rays NASA's IXPE will detect. If the astronomical sources, if these sources emit, low frequency X-rays, then NASA's IXPE will detect it. But if these sources release high intensity or high frequency X-rays, then ISRO's XPoSat will detect them. Whatever type of X-rays are coming out of this source, these two instruments together, the gap in the IXPE will be filled by XPoSat, and the gap in the XPoSat, what XPoSat cannot do will be done by the NASA's IXPE. IXPE will cover 2 to 8 kilo electron volts X-rays, that is low frequency X-rays or low energy X-rays. XPoSat extends the spectrum to 8 to 30 kilo electron volts, giving a comprehensive view about a wide energy spectrum. Okay, and I already explained what is polarization. So this is about the 2024 New Year's Day, what happened. Okay, now moving on to the next topic, that is also from the space technology. Okay, right. That is high altitude pseudo satellite. Yes, all of you tell me, is it a satellite or a fake satellite, or something that looks like a satellite, sounds like a satellite but not a satellite? Yes. Right, this is a pseudo satellite. Okay, now let us try to understand why this is called as a pseudo satellite. Recently, The CSI are National Aerospace Laboratories. A CSIR institute called National Aerospace Laboratories successfully tested an unmanned high altitude pseudo satellite. Okay, HAPS in Karnataka. This is tested in Karnataka. Clear till now? This is a pseudo satellite. Why it is called pseudo satellite? Let us see in some time. Okay, this is tested by what? Okay, CSIR National Aerospace Laboratories. And this is a 5-meter long drone. Also it's sounding like unmanned high altitude pseudo satellite. Unmanned aerial vehicles. We call drones as UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles, right? Like that. This is an unmanned one. The name sounds like a satellite, but it is not a satellite. It is basically like a drone or something in between a drone and a satellite. Okay, this is 5-meter long drone with 11-meter wingspan. The wingspan is 11 meter. It flew at an altitude of 3 kilometers for 8 hours. I hope with this point you understood why this is not called as a satellite. I just told you what is the low Earth orbit. Low Earth orbit is any orbit at a height of 200, approximately 200, even 160 also, 200 to 2000 kilometers. This is called low Earth orbit because this is the lowest orbit possible. This is the lowest orbit possible. I hope it is clear. I mean, if there is a satellite at 50 kilometer altitude, it cannot orbit the Earth. Why it cannot orbit the Earth? Let us suppose this is the Earth and you have an orbit around the Earth. This is just 50 kilometers. Then what happens? The gravitational force is very high when compared to the velocity of the satellite. So what happens? The satellite will fall onto the Earth. So if a satellite should orbit the Earth, the minimum height is above 160 to 200 up to 2000 kilometers. We call this as low Earth orbit. This is the lowest orbit possible. But at what height this HAPS is going? Only 3 kilometers. Far less when compared to the lowest height of the low Earth orbit also. So we cannot call it as a satellite. This is a pseudo satellite. Okay. HAPS are advanced uncrewed aircraft. Already we know that it is unmanned. This is something between a drone and a satellite. Uncrewed aircraft designed to operate in the stratosphere about 20 kilometers above the ground. Okay, from 5 then you may get a doubt, ma'am, you are saying 20 kilometers here, 3 kilometers here. 3 kilometers is the test. In the test, it flew at 3 kilometers, but this can go up to 20 kilometers, right? But 20 kilometers is also far less than the lowest height of the low Earth orbit as well. Is it clear? HAPS essentially functions as an aerial base station providing internet connectivity. Important point. What is the purpose of this? What it is doing? It is giving us internet connectivity and other services at lower cost compared to satellite. Okay. See, a small logical point, launching a satellite which will orbit around the Earth at around 200-400 kilometers is more costly than HAPS. Okay. So therefore, you know that presently we are trying to work on the internet from the satellite. Okay, not from the ground station. We are trying to get internet signals from the satellites. Okay, Elon Musk's company, the Starlink and all, are sending lots of satellites into the space for the internet services. So in future we will be getting our internet only from the satellites, but that is costly. Okay, see, let us see some problems. If the internet comes from the satellite, then what is the problem? The advantage is it covers large area. It covers large area. I mean, one satellite can provide internet for a very large area. That is the advantage. But what is the disadvantage? First one, it is costly. Second one, it is very distant. Okay, minimum above 200 kilometers. So we can have the connectivity issues. I hope it is when the internet is coming from 400 kilometers or 300 kilometers, obviously we may get some connectivity issues. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of internet, okay, from the satellites, like the Starlink satellites. Example, Starlink satellites, right? Okay. Now, just tell me, in this particular part, did I explain about this HAPS pseudo satellite, or am I actually speaking about the real satellites providing the internet facilities? Yes? Is this content about the high altitude pseudo satellite or the real satellites? Real satellite. This is the advantage. Large area can be covered using a single satellite. You can provide internet to a large area. But disadvantages are costly and like connectivity issues, and also yes, it can increase the space debris as well. It will increase the space debris. Okay, then what is the problem with the internet? Okay, from the ground station, not satellite, from the ground. We will have internet towers on the ground, like we are getting the internet presently. Is it clear? With this, what is the advantage? Okay, coverage issues. Is it clear? So each internet source can provide internet for only a small area, only a few kilometers. But a satellite can provide internet for thousands of kilometers on the earth. Coverage issue. Plus also we have like buildings and other obstructions and permissions. We should get permissions from the people to establish an internet tower. These, and of course the cost. These are the issues. Okay. So one extreme very high satellites, the other extreme ground. So what is the best alternative for getting the internet from the satellite or getting the internet from the ground stations? What is the best alternative in between? The best alternative in between is, yes, all of you please. Yeah, what is that intermediate one? Yes, HAPS, very good, high altitude pseudo satellite. This is not on the ground, so buildings and obstructions will not be there. You need not take permissions from the property owners to establish the internet towers. At the same time, it is not from such a high altitude. Okay, it is also not from a very high altitude. Okay, so because of that, what happens? The connectivity issues also will not be there. Cost is also not that much high. So that is the purpose of HAPS. I hope you all perfectly understood the importance of HAPS. So, HAPS essentially functions as aerial base station providing internet connectivity and other services at lower cost comparable to satellites. They are powered by solar energy and stay airborne for months. For several months they can stay in the air and constantly provide internet, and also they are powered by the solar energy, so it will not even increase the pollution, right? HAPS allows coverage of very large areas, 500 kilometer distance. One HAPS can provide internet for 500 kilometers of the region on the earth from a single platform. Okay, this is very high compared to ground based towers. Of course, low when compared to satellite, but satellites have their own issues, right? Though satellites can provide similar functionality, HAPS operated much closer to the Earth, resulting in lower latency. As we have seen here, if the internet is coming from the very high altitude, we will have connectivity issues. So, but if it is coming from the HAPS, we can expect lower latency, that is no connectivity issues. Greater two-way transmission speeds are possible. They are easier and less costly to deploy and maintain when compared to the satellites. HAPS also can take off and land in the regular airports. You don't even need a launch pad to launch it like a satellite. Okay, then now let us see a list of applications of HAPS. You may get questions like they will give you some 4 of these statements and will ask you which among these is not an application of HAPS or which among these is an application of HAPS. Such questions you can expect. Okay. Broader surveillance in remote terrain in forest areas and all, also you can provide the internet using HAPS. Mountains, forests, wireless hotspots during disasters, some disaster management. You can immediately send in HAPS, okay, because if you observe just like a flight, regular airports, you're not launching it like a satellite. Just send it like when a disaster occurs, we will not get internet connection there. Sending in HAPS will immediately provide them with the internet connectivity. Imagine the advantage, okay. Maritime monitoring, monitoring the oceans, plus bridge the digital divide. Digital divide means what? Rich people can afford for the internet connectivity, poor people cannot afford. That is called digital divide. Through HAPS, if we can reduce the internet cost, this digital divide can be filled. The gap between rich and poor in the digital technology can be filled. Okay. Agricultural use, that is like in the large scale agricultural lands, providing internet so that the farmers can get information about any weather forecast or the type of the soil, which crop is better for this soil, etc. Then it will complement India's satellite capacity for the national security and public safety. Not only providing internet, we can also use them as surveillance satellites. We can also use them as spying, surveillance satellites. It will complement, I mean, what the satellites cannot do in the surveillance, this HAPS can do. Okay, that's it. This is about the HAPS, high altitude pseudo satellites. Okay. Moving on to the third topic, the neglected tropical diseases. Neglected tropical diseases. Okay. I remind you, these are all the current affairs from the duration of January to May 2024. For any preliminary examination or for the UPSC examination, it is ideal to cover 1.5 year current affairs. In today's and tomorrow's session, I will discuss some around, 10 topics today, 10 topics tomorrow. 20 most important current affairs from the duration of January to May 2024. Let us continue with the third topic, the neglected tropical diseases. The 74th World Health Assembly. We heard about World Health Organization, but what is World Health Assembly? The World Health Organization will work through the World Health Assemblies. It is like a meeting. It is a where they make some decisions and make some declarations. Okay. The World Health Assembly declared 30th January as the World Neglected Tropical Diseases Day. So this news is from approximately 31st January. I did not note the date and source of this news, but like from this we can expect that. Okay. So the World Health Assembly declared 30th January. So every year 30th January we celebrate the World Neglected Tropical Diseases Day. Some diseases which are common in the tropical regions, but we don't study much about it. We don't discuss much about it. Okay. These viruses did not become viral. Okay. Right. Ahead of the World Health Assembly 77th session, the World Health Organization released a global report on the neglected tropical diseases of the year 2024. Okay, in May 2024. Okay, then now I hope you understood this. There are certain diseases which are common in the tropical regions, but these diseases did not become so popular like HIV, COVID-19, okay, flus, Ebola. We speak so much about them, but about these infections, okay, people are not speaking much. They are not very popular, but they also can cause a problem. So we should take care of those things also. I mean, we should take care of ourselves from those infections as well. They are called neglected tropical diseases. Okay, let us see some examples of neglected tropical diseases. Okay, viral diseases like dengue, chikungunya, Zika, rabies. We are always speaking about HIV, Ebola, COVID-19, flus, hepatitis, but these diseases are not given much importance. Dengue, chikungunya, Zika and rabies. Okay. Protozoal infections like African trypanosomiasis, a protozoa called as trypanosoma. What is a protozoa? Let us try to understand what is a protozoa. Okay, virus, protozoa, bacteria. First, what is a virus? Virus is just a protein coat, and inside that some genetic material. This genetic material can be either DNA or RNA and can never be DNA and RNA both. Some viruses have DNA, some viruses have RNA. That is about the viruses. What are the virus examples of neglected tropical diseases? Dengue, chikungunya, Zika and rabies. They are not as popular as the other infections like HIV, COVID-19 etc. Next, what? And these are acellular. It means no cell. They do not have a cell. Then what about bacteria? Bacteria have a cell, but only one cell. They are called unicellular. They have a cell, but they are prokaryotic. Prokaryotic means they do not have a nucleus. There is no nucleus. Unicellular, one cell, prokaryotic cell, okay, is called as bacteria. Then what is protozoa? What is a protozoa? Like bacteria, protozoa are also unicellular, that is one cell only, but that one cell will have a true nucleus. This is a true nucleus. A cell with a true nucleus is called as eukaryotic cell. We call this as eukaryotic cell. Protozoa is unicellular, eukaryotic, where the word eu, okay, means true and the word carrion means nucleus. So that is the difference between a virus. Virus is acellular, no cell. Bacteria is unicellular, one cell but no nucleus. Protozoa are unicellular, one cell, and they also have a true nucleus, that is eukaryotic cell. The protozoal infections are trypanosomiasis, okay, and leishmaniasis. A protozoa called trypanosoma causes trypanosomiasis, and leishmania causes leishmaniasis. What is the most popular protozoal disease? Malaria. What is the most popular protozoal disease? Malaria caused by Plasmodium. Then you may ask me, ma'am, why are you not giving the most popular one here, malaria, Plasmodium? Because these are the neglected tropical diseases. We are not discussing about the popular tropical diseases. We are discussing about the neglected tropical diseases. We speak a lot about malaria, okay, but we are not giving that much importance to trypanosomiasis and leishmaniasis. Is it clear? Okay. And next, bacterial diseases like leprosy caused by Mycobacterium leprae, cholera caused by Vibrio cholerae, We speak so much about Mycobacterium tuberculosis, isn't it? Because India is having the highest number of cases of tuberculosis. So we have special strategy, plan of action about tuberculosis. Very good. We should do that. But at the same time, we should not neglect the other bacterial diseases. So this is a WHO's call to not neglect this kind of diseases. We have other examples also. I have given a few examples. This is the news about the neglected tropical diseases. Okay. Moving on to the fourth topic, that is called as CAR T cell therapy. This is 4th April 2024, a news from the Hindu newspaper. CAR T cell therapy. Let us try to understand what it is. Okay, right. So, first of all, okay, this is a T cell. Okay, all of you message me back, what cell is that? It is a T cell. And it is a killer cell. It's a killer cell. And it kills cancer cells. It kills cancer cells, right? It is a type of a cell and it is a killer cell, okay? And it kills what type of cells? It kills cancer cells, okay? I hope that is clear. And every T cell will have a structure called as, okay, T cell receptor. Every T cell will have a structure called as T cell receptor. And I know the red is not that much visible as brightly as yellow color, but I want to show some color difference. So, okay, kindly adjust. Okay. So, this is called T cell receptor and it is like a natural one. I mean, we are not artificially adding it. Every T cell will naturally have it. Just because it is a T cell, it will have a T cell receptor. Okay. Then, so in this technique, what we are using, okay, in this technique we are using, yes, I will surely consider white color also, Mumtaz. Okay. So in this, what we do is, okay, first take the T cells from the patient. Is it clear? We should collect the T cells from the patient. What patient? Cancer patient. I hope that is clear. Collect the T cells from the cancer patient. Okay. Then in the second step what we do is, okay, add a specific antibody to a unique antigen, okay, present on, add a specific antibody to a unique antigen present on the cancer you want to cure. I mean, whatever cancer you want to cure, for example, you want to cure, you want to give a treatment for breast cancer, or you want to give a treatment for blood cancer like leukemia, or you want to give treatment for a lung cancer. Depending on what cancer you want to cure, that cancer will have a unique antigen. Look at here, you will understand this. What is this? This is a leukemia cell. Leukemia cell, I mean blood cancer cell. Is it clear? Blood cancer cell. Okay. On that, there is one particular structure called as CD19. There is a particular structure called as CD19. And we are not adding this. This is also natural. I mean, okay, all leukemia cells have this structure. There is nothing to understand. That is a name you have to memorize. CD19. And what it is? It is a unique antigen present on the leukemia cells. So, answer these questions. Do healthy cells have the CD19? Do healthy cells have CD19? No. Do other cancer cells, lung cancer, breast cancer, liver cancer, uterus cancer cells have CD19? No. So, healthy cells don't have, other cancer cells also don't have, only leukemia cells. will have the CD19. Is it clear? We are not adding this. Naturally leukemia cells have it. T cell receptor on the T cell also, this one also, we are not adding it. Naturally the T cells will have it. But what we are adding now is, okay, look at here. The one I am drawing in green color. What is this one? This is an antibody for CD19. Is it clear? This is an antibody for CD19. It can specifically bind to, only to, okay, leukemia cells. It can specifically bind only to the leukemia cells, not any other cancer, not the healthy body cells also. So without destroying the healthy body cells, we can particularly target the leukemia cells. Okay. Now let me just give you a small analogy. Okay. Adding this antibody, look at this, adding this antibody is like showing the smell of a criminal to a sniffer dog. Okay. And the criminal is leukemia cell. Sniffer dog is a T cell. Okay. Adding this antibody is like showing the smell of a criminal to the sniffer dog. Now this police sniffer dog will attack only on that criminal. It will not attack anybody who comes on the way. Is it clear? I mean, we are making the T cells. T cells can kill, but we are increasing the specificity of the T cells by adding this antibody. T cells can kill the cancer cells, but we are increasing the specificity of this T cell by adding this antibody. Just like dog can attack, but by showing the smell of the criminal, we are increasing the specificity of that dog, like that. Okay, fine. Okay, so what was the step 1? Take the T cells from the patient. Step 2, we have added this specific antibody to a unique antigen, that is CD19 antigen, on that cancer that you want to cure. I mean, okay, in this example, it is CD19 on leukemia cells. Is it clear? Fine, very good. Okay, then third step. What is the third step? Okay, we have taken the T cells out, modified this. Then what we should do? Re-inject the T cells back into the patient. Re-inject the T cells back into the patient. Done. That is nothing but the cancer treatment. That is nothing but the cancer treatment. Very good. But why the word CAR T cell? Why this word CAR T cell? How do you explain this particular word? Let us try to understand this. Do you have any habit of reading mythology, particularly Greek mythology? Reading Indian mythology itself is not happening, ma'am. Where can we read Greek mythology, right? Yes. In Greek mythology, there is a character called as Chimera. Chimera is like our Narasimha avatar. Like for example, human body and the lion head. Okay. Like that, in Greek mythology also there is an animal having different parts of different animals. Okay. So we in Greek language that was called as chimera. So we use this word chimera whenever we want to refer to mixture of two things. Is it clear? So what is the chimera here? So the chimera here is okay, the T cell receptor plus okay, the CD19 antibody. Okay, T cell receptor plus CD19 antibody. Is that clear? That is called as, this is called as chimeric antigen receptor. Chimeric antigen receptor, CAR. And the T cell with CAR is called CAR T cell. Okay, the T cell having this CAR, I will try to highlight it. See this part. Okay. No, it's not getting highlighted. Okay, I can only do. Is it fine? You are able to hear me? Now fine? Right. Okay. So don't worry, if it buffers, I will stop in between. Okay. So let us give it a reading for this CAR T cell therapy. T cells are taken from the patient's blood, changed in the laboratory by adding, okay, an antibody to a specific cancer cell antigen to the T cell receptor, forming a chimeric antigen receptor called CAR. The CAR T cells are then given back to the patient. And answer this question: if I make a CAR T cell for leukemia cancer, can it work for the lung cancer? If I make a CAR T cell for leukemia cancer, can it also work for the lung cancer? No, very good. Okay, because I told you this CD19 antigen is unique to the leukemia cell, not present on the other cancer cells. So each CAR is made for a specific cancer antigen, like this CAR is made for CD19. For example, in certain kinds of leukemia or lymphoma, the cancer cells have an antigen called as CD19. The CAR T cell therapies to treat these cancers are made to attach to the CD19 antigen and will not work for a cancer that does not have CD19 antigen. Okay, so this particular CAR T cell will not act for a cancer cell which is not having the CD19 antigen. And so CAR T cell therapy was available internationally but too costly, crores of rupees. But recently the news in the 4th April 2024, the news is India's first homegrown CAR T cells. We made our own indigenous CAR T cells, which will reduce the cost. After reducing the cost also, it is around 40 lakh rupees, right? I hope the CAR T cell therapy is clear for all of you. Right. Then moving on to the next topic, that is solar storms. Okay. Solar storms, let us try to understand. Okay. To understand solar storms, we need to know a little more of other information also, background information. Okay. Background information. So let us see what is that. First we should know what are the solar flares. Solar flares. Simple. These are some waves coming out of the sun. Some waves. Tell me, what are the solar flares? These are some waves coming out of the sun. Clear? Right. What kind of waves? Radio waves, X-rays, gamma rays, like we have seen here. Okay. Radio waves, X-rays, gamma rays. Is it clear? Yes. Okay. Right. Mostly they will come. Exceptions can be there. Other waves also may come, but mostly the waves coming out of the sun's corona. Okay. Waves coming out of sun's corona. Then you may ask me, what is corona? Okay, corona is corona is the outermost layer of sun's atmosphere, the outermost layer of the sun's atmosphere, right? Okay, and the waves coming out of the sun's corona are called as solar flares. Most importantly, radio waves, X-rays, gamma rays. Because these are the electromagnetic waves, just like light waves. We have seen radio waves, microwaves, then IR, then visible, then UV, then X-ray, then gamma, right? So just like light waves, these are also electromagnetic waves. So just like light takes 8 minutes to reach the earth, these solar flares also take approximately 8 minutes to reach the earth. There are 5 categories of solar flares according to their brightness in the X-ray wavelength. Okay, I mean, if high energy X-rays are there, then they are called X category. Low energy X-rays are coming, then they are called A category. Little higher energy X-rays, B category. Little higher energy X-rays, C category, like that. So we have different categories of solar flares. They are categorized into A, B, C, M and X. X is highest intensity solar flares. Okay. And what is the news here? This is knowledge. What is the news here? Okay. Sun emitted 2 strong solar flares. Okay. On May 10th, 2024. Okay, in the month of May, sun emitted 2 strong solar flares. They are classified as X 5.8 and X 1.5. I mean, in the highest, also higher side, I mean very high intensity solar flares were emitted by the sun in 2024 May. I hope the news is clear. Also, an M6.6 that is also high intensity only. M6.6 solar flares erupted on Monday, that is 13th May 2024. I repeat, simple, solar flares are some waves coming out of the sun's corona, and mostly these are radio waves, X-rays and gamma rays. Depending on the intensity of the solar flares, we categorize them into A, B, C, M and X, where X being the highest intensity. So in the month of May 2024, a very high intensity solar flares came out of the sun, like X 5.8 and X 1.5. Also in the month of May, there is another solar flare that is also high intensity only, but little lesser, that is M6.6 class solar flares erupted. Okay, is that clear? Then next topic, solar wind. Okay, I am summarizing here. What is solar wind? Solar wind are particles coming out of the sun's corona. Okay, notice the difference. Solar flares are waves. Solar winds are particles. What is the difference between solar flares and solar winds? Solar flares are, yes, solar flares are flares. Flares are waves. Winds are particles. Winds are particles. Then which particles? Electrons, protons, alpha particles, etc. Is it fine now? Okay. Fine, you are able to hear me? Yeah, you did not miss anything. Realizing that it was buffering, I stopped for a while. So you did not miss any content. Okay. So I repeat, flares are the waves. Which waves? Radio waves, X-rays, gamma rays. Winds are the particles. Which particles? Electrons, protons, alpha particles. Is that clear? Winds are particles coming out of the sun's corona. Which particles? Electrons, protons, alpha particles. Clear till now? Then, okay, that is solar winds. There is another concept called as coronal mass ejection. Use the word once, message me this word. Coronal mass ejection. Is it clear? It's buffering again. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Coronal mass ejection. So coronal mass ejection, what is coming? Mass. Mass means what? Matter. Mass means matter. Some matter, okay, is coming from the sun's corona. From the sun's corona. Is it clear? Therefore, it is called coronal mass ejection. That is from the corona. From the corona, mass is ejected. Mass means what? Matter. Okay. And matter will have different states, right? We have different states of matter. Okay. In the form of plasma. Very good. In the form of plasma. Sorry. In the form of plasma. Okay. Means corona is emitting some matter as if the sun is vomiting. Okay. And this matter is not coming out in the form of solid, liquid or gas. This is the fourth state of matter called plasma. I hope you can easily understand the difference between the three. Flares, waves, winds, particles. Coronal mass ejections, mass. Mass means matter. Matter in which state? Plasma state, the fourth state of matter. I hope this summary helps. Yes? Right. Okay. These are released of plasma and accompanying magnetic field from the sun's corona. They can harbor energies exceeding than million atom bombs. A coronal mass ejection will have that much energy which is equivalent to 1 million atom bombs. It will take 1 to 3 days to reach the earth. Is it clear? Matter means Ishwar. Matter means anything which is having a physical existence. For example, I am a matter. This pen is a matter. Something which we can see, touch, feel, okay, or listen, okay, or smell. Something which is tangible, something which is having a physical existence is called as matter. Okay. Matter can also be called as mass. If the mass is ejected from the corona, that is called as coronal mass ejection. This mass will take 1 to 3 days to reach the earth. I hope it is clear. Right. Now, till now we understood solar winds, solar flares, coronal mass ejections. Is it clear? Solar wind. Okay, that is nothing but particles. Solar flares, that is nothing but waves. Coronal mass ejections, that is nothing but mass in the form of plasma. Okay, then this is coming out from what? Okay, this is coming out. All these are coming out from the sun, isn't it? Imagine this is the sun. I hope you are able to see that. That is the sun. From the sun, this is coming out. Is it clear? Then it is coming towards what? Towards earth. Okay. Of course, towards the other planets also, but we are speaking about the earth. It will not come only towards the earth, but because we are speaking about the earth. Right? Okay. So they are coming like this. I hope it is clear. Then what they will do? The winds, flares and coronal mass ejection, all of them. Winds, flares and this mass, all of them will drag the sun's magnetic field, towards the earth. I hope it is clear. The wind, flares and mass are dragging the sun's magnetic field towards the earth. I hope it is clear. Then, okay. Next what happens? Okay. this sun's magnetic field will interfere with Earth's magnetic field. Is it clear? Okay, this will interfere with Earth's magnetic field and cause some disturbance. We call that disturbance as the solar storm, or why this is called solar storm? Because it is coming from the sun, and it is also called as geomagnetic storm. Why this is called geomagnetic storm? Geo, earth. Okay, it is a disturbance to Earth's magnetic field. This is a disturbance caused to the Earth's magnetic field. Therefore, this can also be called as a geomagnetic storm. I just repeat once again. Okay, from the sun's corona, solar wind, that is particles, solar flares, that is waves, solar coronal mass ejections, that is some mass in the form of plasma, are coming and they are traveling towards the Earth. They will drag some sun's magnetic field. They will drag some sun's magnetic field towards the Earth. The sun's magnetic field will cause some disturbance to the Earth's magnetic field. Such disturbance is called as solar storm or geomagnetic storm. You are able to hear me? Right, perfect, very good. Okay. Yes. So, is there any news between solar storm and geomagnetic storm? Yes, there is a small difference between these two. Okay. Geomagnetic storm, okay, it will cause major disturbance. Okay, look at here, I have given the difference here. Okay. Solar storm will stay for few minutes to few hours, but geomagnetic storm will stay for few days to weeks. I mean, if this stays for some, okay, days to weeks, we call it as geomagnetic storm. If it stays for few hours to, okay, few minutes to few hours, then it is called solar storm. Concept is the same. Solar winds, flares, coronal mass ejections are dragging the sun's magnetic field. It will interfere with the Earth's magnetic field and it will cause some disturbance on the Earth. The same concept. But if it is a minor disturbance, solar storm. Major disturbance, geomagnetic storm. I hope the difference is clear. Okay. So, look at here. Geomagnetic storms can be categorized into G1 to G5. Least intensity geomagnetic storms are called G1. Highest intensity geomagnetic storms are called G5. Is that clear? Yes? Right. G1 is the lowest intensity geomagnetic storm and G5 is the highest intensity geomagnetic form. And this is our knowledge. What is the news related to it? Why are we discussing it? What is there in the newspapers? An extreme and very rare G5 level solar, 2024 the sun was very angry. Okay, so highest grade geomagnetic storm hits the Earth and highest grade solar flares hits the Earth, isn't it? Okay, hits the Earth on May 11th, 2024. And it is observed by NOAA, that is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. This organization observed this solar storm, geomagnetic storm. Okay. Next, solar storms I already explained and they can be categorized from S1 to S5. Lowest intensity solar storm is S1 and highest intensity is S5. Right. Then what are the effects of solar storms? Like, why are we bothering about the solar storms? Why are we discussing so much about it? What is our problem if the sun is angry? Okay. See, I'll tell you a small tip to remember. It will affect, solar storms will affect everything which is related to electricity, okay, or magnetism, or electromagnetic waves. For example, in your home you are using refrigerators or electrical grids, okay. Any electricity, any appliances in which we are using electricity, or any appliances in which you are using magnets, or any appliances in which you are using electromagnetic waves. Then what are those appliances in which we use electromagnetic waves? Our Wi-Fi, our Bluetooth, all our satellites are based on radars. 2024 there is a PYQ, and when the topic came about the PYQs as a part of this Conquer Prelims 2025, we will also be doing, okay, complete PYQs from the year 2015 to 2024 in another phase of the Conquer Prelims, this being the first phase. Okay, let us continue with this. Okay, so Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, all satellites use radars. Okay, sorry for the extra A. Okay, satellites use the radars use what? Radio waves. If you remember, this is a 2024 PYQ, they asked about the radars, they use radio waves, and radio waves are electromagnetic waves, so they also will get affected. Our satellites and our I told you Wi-Fi, okay, also electronic gadgets, all electronic gadgets, all electrical appliances, okay, and internet connections, satellites, all these will get affected. Okay, so simple tip to remember is electric, magnetic, electromagnetic waves. If you are using any of these things, they will get affected. Plus they will cause beautiful aurora, northern lights, southern lights. Some tourists will even go towards the northern pole or southern pole to watch them in certain seasons. Okay, so beautiful northern lights and southern lights we can see. And 2024, because our sun was little angry, okay, we could see aurora not only towards the northern pole and southern pole, in more diverse regions of the earth also we could see the aurora. Plus it will also affect the birds. Some birds which have a natural compass in their body, natural compass. I mean, how do the birds know how to go back to their homes? Okay, through their natural compass. Okay, and the compass is a magnetic device, isn't it? Yes, it is magnetic, but they naturally have it. That is a sixth sense. Okay, we have only 5 senses: smell, auditory, okay, and visual, like taste, and touch, skin. But some birds also can sense the magnet. They have a natural compass. They can sense the magnetic field. So these birds also, they fail to reach their destinations back. Okay, so right. So these are all the impacts of solar storms. Next I have given historical geomagnetic storms. I mean 2024 sun was very angry. What were the other historic events when sun was so angry? Okay, so you can go through this, nothing to explain, these are some factual details, you can go through these information. So that's all about the solar storms, right? Okay, next, moving on to the animals means, Ishwar, not all animals, those which have a compass, like birds. Okay, birds are also animals only, they are not plants by the way, right? Okay, so any living organisms that have a natural compass, they will get affected. Is it clear? Yeah. So now moving on to the next topic, that is, okay, because sun was very angry, high intensity solar storms, geomagnetic storms, solar flares were hitting the earth, Lalita Prasad. So we could see the aurora in the other places also. Normally we see only towards the North Pole and South Pole, but 2024 we have seen aurora in different places also. Is it clear? Okay. By the way, you don't have to take down all these things. Okay. After the class, you check the beginning of this class. I have given the link and a scanner for my Telegram channel. In that Telegram channel, I will keep this annotated PPT. You can simply download that. With annotations, you can simply take that. Okay. And not only that, You have the annotated PPTs of some previous sessions also in that channel, and also you will get information about any of my future sessions also in that channel. And of course, you are already subscribed to the Unacademy IAS English channel, otherwise please do it immediately. Okay, and you can also subscribe to that Telegram channel where you can get this particular notes easily. Okay, and I could not give this channel link in the earlier sessions. Okay, so you can take down that. Okay, now let us move on to the next topic. Okay, that is okay, poem 3. Okay, PSLV orbital experimental module poem 3. Let me explain what it is. PSLV is having 4 stages. PSLV is having 4 stages. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 and stage 4. Okay, then this is what we ignite on the ground for the launch, during the launch. But okay, this one ignition is not enough for the rocket to travel for hundreds of kilometers distance. So what happens is, this stage 1 will be completely burnt. When the stage 1 is completely burnt, the burnt stage 1 will ignite the stage 2. The burnt stage 1 will ignite the stage 2. That will give a second push for the rocket to travel for more distance. I hope it is clear. Okay. And once the stage 2 is completely burnt, then it will ignite the stage 3. Once like this, it will keep on burning. Now this fire will touch the stage 3. Then the stage 3 will be ignited. That will give another blow for the rocket to travel to much more distance. Finally, once the stage 3 is completely burnt, then it will ignite the stage 4. Okay, then from this what we can understand, the PSLV is a use and throw vehicle. It is not a re-entry vehicle, isn't it? This is not re-entry vehicle. Then do we have re-entry vehicles? No, as of now no, but we are testing on the re-entry vehicles. Okay, and I will cover about that RLV also. Okay, relaunchable vehicles also, when in another phase of Conquer Prelims 2025, that is May 2024 to May 2025, 1 year current affairs in a single stretch will be done in another phase of this Conquer Prelims in that weekend. So you could have understood that this is a very comprehensive, very holistic crash course for the Prelims 2025. Okay, so this is not re-entry. Okay, so what happens? Okay, this stage 1, okay, will be burnt, but no problem with this because it will fall back onto the earth. It will fall back onto the earth, no problem with this. Stage 2 also will fall back onto the earth, no problem with that. Stage 3 also will fall back onto the earth, no problem. Why? Because, okay, there will be more gravitational force here, isn't it? There will be more gravitational force here. Is it clear? Okay, but by the time the stage 4 is burnt, okay, this is already at a very high altitude. So the gravitational force is very less. So it cannot fall back. What cannot fall back? 4th stage cannot fall back to the earth. I hope it is clear. 4th stage cannot fall back to the earth. 1, 2, 3 stages are burning when the rocket is near to the earth. So when they drop, they will come back to the earth. They will fall onto the earth. Okay, but by the time the stage 4 is burnt, okay, it is already at a very high altitude and the earth's gravitational force is not impacting much on that. So it cannot fall back onto the earth. I hope you are all understanding this. Very good. Okay. So what happens to this? It will become space debris. It will become the space debris or space junk. Okay, space debris or the space junk. The more space debris accumulate in the space missions will become impossible for our future generations. We are overcrowding the space as well. Okay, so that is the problem with the space junk. So all of you tell me, do we have to reduce the space junk? Should we reduce the space junk? Okay, so for that what we have to do? We have to repurpose the fourth stage. I hope it is clear. Repurpose the fourth stage. Repurpose means use it for some other reason, use it for some other purpose. Okay, like for example, it will work like an orbital platform. It will work like an orbital platform for satellites. Is it clear? Like this, for example, this is stage 4. Stage 4. On that there will be some satellites. Okay, means like a platform. Okay, the satellites will be sitting on this stage 4, and with these satellites the stage 4 will orbit around the earth. Orbit the earth. So we are using this stage 4 as an orbital platform on which the satellites can sit and orbit the earth, on which the satellites can be placed and orbit around the earth. Okay, so like this we are repurposing it. Okay, once the lifespan of these satellites is completed, I mean after using it like an orbital platform, what we should do? We should try to bring it back onto the earth. Bring this back onto the earth. Okay, and okay, this is a third time we are doing this, therefore it is called poem 3. Poem 4 is also there, that I will teach you in the 1 year current affairs, that is May 24 to May 25. Poem 4 is also there, but this is poem 3. Okay, the third time we used the fourth stage, we repurposed the fourth stage, and also we brought it back. It fell in the Pacific Ocean. Okay, so this is an effort to reduce the space junk. I hope it is clear. Okay, then ISRO has achieved another milestone with the successful re-entry of the PSLV. Okay, then you may ask me, ma'am, it is re-entering, then why did you say that we do not have a re-entry vehicle? Vehicle is not coming back, only the fourth stage is coming back. That too, it is not coming back so that we can reuse it. No, a burnt stage 4 is coming back. Okay, so it is not a relaunch vehicle. We are working on the relaunch vehicle. As I told you, we will discuss in the last 1 year current affairs, that is May 24 to May 25, right? Okay, I hope it is clear. Poem means what? Poem means PSLV, orbital experimental module number 3. Okay, PSLV orbital experimental module. Okay, this is an experiment to repurpose the fourth stage and bring it back. Repurpose the fourth stage and bring it back. Interestingly, okay, the poem 3 is the fourth stage of that PSLV which carried our XPoSat that we studied in the beginning of today's class. Okay, the PSLV carried XPoSat. PSLV C58 carried XPoSat, and the PSLV C58's fourth stage brought back onto the earth. Following the successful placement of XPoSat, following the successful placement of XPoSat and all the other satellites into their designated orbits, the final stage of the fourth stage of PSLV, known as POEM-3, that is orbital experimental module, it is an experiment to repurpose the fourth stage, okay, was deorbited from 650 to 350, okay. It means this is Earth, this is 650 kilometer orbit, this is 350 kilometer orbit, okay, and POEM was here, but POEM was first brought back, POEM-3 was first brought back to, okay, 350 kilometer altitude, and then it was brought back to the Earth and it fell in the Pacific Ocean. Is it clear? Deorbited from an altitude of 650 kilometers to 350 kilometers, facilitating the re-entry process. Re-entry onto the Earth is easier from 350 compared to 650. So first it was brought back to a lower orbit and then it was brought back onto the Earth. Clear till now? Yes, all of you? Thank you. Right. Then POEM-3 impacted the North Pacific Ocean on March 21st, 2024. It fell in the North Pacific Ocean. Okay. Until near re-entry, POEM-3 was tracked by ISTRAC. Okay. Why it should be tracked? Because if it falls on a heavily populated region, it may fall on our head. Okay. So people like me will get afraid. Okay. So it must be tracked and should be safely directed on to some. Okay. No, it cannot be reused. I told you already. This is not a relaunch vehicle. Okay. Total vehicle is not brought back. Only the, okay. See, we are doing re-entry. Look at here. I will write it in red color pen. We are doing re-entry. But only the re-entry of the fourth stage. Only fourth stage re-entering. That too a burnt fourth stage re-entering. This re-entering is not to resend. This is only re-enter, no resend. Okay. Then why re-enter when there is no chance of resending it again, relaunching again? Just to reduce the space debris. I hope it is clear. Just to reduce the space debris. Is it clear? Just because it should not fall on somebody, so therefore it should be safely directed into the Pacific Ocean, therefore it was tracked. Just like in your, like in some Google Maps, you can track the vehicle like that, the ISTRAC will track this particular POEM-3. Okay. And multi-object tracking radars were tracking it from Sriharikota. PSLV C58 XPoSat is a third such mission, therefore it is called POEM-3. We recently have POEM-4 also that I will cover in the next phase of this course. Okay. ISRO System for Safe and Sustainable Spacecraft Operation Management, IS4OM, has monitored and analyzed the orbital decay throughout the mission. Orbital decay means what? Decrease in the altitude. Decrease in the altitude. That 650 to 350 and 350 to 200, 100, 50, 10 fell in the Pacific Ocean. Okay, like that. I hope it is clear. It will create marine debris, but as of now we don't have that much marine debris as we have in the space. So it is better to create debris in the ocean when compared to the space for the moment. Okay. In future we may have to clear the ocean then. Okay. Then moving on to the next topic, glycemic index and the glycemic load. Okay. And how they will influence the cardiovascular diseases. How they will influence the cardio means heart, vascular, blood vessels. Right? Then what is glycemic index? What is glycemic load? Glycemic index of the food. This is related to bio. Okay. Glycemic index of the food refers to the property of the food to increase the blood glucose level. I mean, any food that increase the blood glucose level to a higher level is called as high GI food. Okay, and any food that do not reduce the blood sugar is called as, or blood glucose levels is called as low GI food. Is it clear? Glycemic index. Okay, not hemoglobin. Okay, glucose levels in the blood. Glucose levels in the blood. Okay, of course, if the glucose is ligated to hemoglobin, then we call it as glycated hemoglobin. That is what is tested in the HbA1c test. Okay, glycated hemoglobin means hemoglobin bound to glucose, right? Okay, so high sugar levels will increase glycated hemoglobin levels. High, okay, GI food can also increase, okay, HbA1c levels. I mean the glycated hemoglobin levels. I hope that is clear. So the food that can increase the glucose levels to a higher level are called as high GI foods. The foods that will not increase the glucose levels in the blood are called low GI food. So what are some low GI foods? Protein, fat. Protein, fat are the low GI foods. They will not increase. I mean, if you drink some ghee, okay, like these days people are saying bullet coffee every day morning, you have to put some ghee in the coffee and drink. Okay, such things when you do, your glucose levels will not increase. I mean, it is high calorie, you may put on the weight, but glucose levels will not increase. Is it clear? Okay, same way protein also, some meat or some paneer or some vegetable protein when you eat also, GI levels will not, I mean blood glucose levels will not increase much. We take glucose, direct glucose powder or white bread, glucose powder and white bread we take as a like a scale we take. This is considered as 100%. I hope it is clear. I mean, the amount of sugar levels or amount of glucose levels that increase when you eat glucose powder is considered as 100%. Then, okay, for example, for example, rice, white rice GI value is 60. Means it is 60% of the increase in glucose levels compared to, fill the blank, compared to, it is 50% of the increase in the glucose levels compared to, yes everybody? Compared to glucose powder, compared to glucose powder. Is it clear? Okay, if you consider the increase in the glucose level when you eat glucose powder as 100%, okay, then when you eat white rice, your blood glucose levels will increase 60% compared to the glucose levels that increase when you eat the glucose powder. That is how we calculate the GI value. This is a measure of quality of carbohydrates. What are high GI food? Carbohydrates are high GI food. Okay, rice, wheat, all cereals. We think that millets are healthy, but millets also have as much carbohydrates as you find in the rice or wheat. But they have other good properties like fiber or some minerals, vitamins, etc. But all cereals are, okay, high carb food only. Okay, low carb means, okay, proteins and fats like meat, paneer, okay, and some pulses, okay, fat, etc. They are called low GI food. Okay, for example, if you eat chicken or paneer, your glucose levels will not increase at all. Very negligible increase you will find. Okay, they are called low GI food. Glucose or white bread is used as a comparator. I mean like a scale. We are considering the glucose powder as a scale, that is 100%. The GI of glucose is taken as 100 and the GI of other food are given as percentage of this. Okay, GI 50 means 50% compared to glucose powder. GI 60 means 60% compared to glucose powder. Is it clear? You are able to hear me? Right. Thus the GI of the foods are classified as low GI. What are called as low GI food? Low glycemic index food means what? The food having GI values less than 55. 56 to 69 are considered as medium GI, medium glycemic index, and high GI is above 70. High GI is above 70. Okay. Yes, India is a high GI country. Why? All colonial countries are like that. Because during the colonial rule, the Britishers had to feed the Indians, okay, with less cost. Less cost, more calories food is carbohydrates only. That is the reason why even today you can find the poor people eating this much of rice with a little bit of chili or something in that. Okay, so India eats more carbohydrates because of the colonial past. I hope you understood the link with that. Okay, rice cultivation. But why Britishers encouraged consuming more carbohydrates? Because low cost with less expenditure, they had to feed the people. Okay, so that is the reason why encouraged this. Okay, like then you may ask me, ma'am, in Western countries also they eat bread and all. Yes, but they eat a lot of salad with that and a complete meat steak with that. But in India, if we eat chicken or mutton, for example, if somebody eats meat, okay, it is a half a kg for a family of 4-5 people. That is how they eat the meat. So the amount of meat, protein and the fat we consume is very less. Okay, Western countries, yes, they eat pizzas, burgers, bread and all those things, but side by side they also eat a lot of meat, okay, butter and also salads, fiber and all those things. That is the difference we have here. Okay. Next one, what is glycemic load? Glycemic load is GI multiplied by glycemic index of the food multiplied by the quantity of the food that you are eating. For example, you eat bread. Its GI is very high, but you eat only one bread, no harm. Means the overall GL is low, the glycemic load is low. Or for example, you eat some brown rice, the GI is less, but because GI is less, you eat more rice, then the overall glycemic load will be high. Okay. So on the whole, what will impact our health is glycemic load, not glycemic index. You may eat high glycemic index food, but the quantity should be less. Okay. So overall the glycemic load should be balanced. Okay. If the glycemic load increases, we get cardiovascular diseases, also Alzheimer's disease. That is the reason why Alzheimer's is being called as a type 3 diabetes, because when sugar levels are high, you are getting Alzheimer's. When sugar levels are high, you are getting Alzheimer's. So symbolically, this is not diabetes. Alzheimer's is not diabetes, no doubt. Okay, but symbolically they are calling it as type 3. Technically this is wrong, we should not call like this, but symbolically they are calling this as type 3 diabetes. Okay, because high sugar levels will lead to Alzheimer's. That is about the glycemic index. The next topic we are discussing is WHO's fungal priority pathogens list. Okay, WHO also released some list of fungi that cause infections. List of some fungi that cause infections. Do you remember in COVID-19 second wave? Okay, we heard the news like people are getting black fungus. Every day they were giving a different color code in the newspapers. Black fungus, white fungus, yellow fungus, green fungus. Do you remember those days? Right. So those are the fungal infections. But we heard or we remember only those color codes, but we never bothered about what are those fungi. So this news article is a great opportunity for us to know what are those fungi. Okay. WHO's fungal priority pathogens list include 19 fungi that pose greatest threat to the human health. Okay, like second wave, the news was like say black fungus infected a person and it went into the eye from the nose and they had to completely remove the eye. So that kind of horrifying news we heard during the second wave. Okay, so it means we should also be careful, okay, about the fungal infections. Okay, they pose greatest threat to the human health. Okay, because it is easy to cure viral, bacterial and protozoal infections compared to curing the fungal infections. I also heard a news where somebody spent 1 crore rupees on treating the black fungus infection during the same COVID-19 second wave. So difficult to cure the fungal infections as well. Okay, so the classification is based on the pathogen's public health impact. I mean, those fungi which can cause maximum impact on the public health are categorized as critical priority group. Examples: Candida auris, okay, which is a highly drug resistant fungi, antifungal medicines, okay, cannot kill this type of fungi, drug resistant fungi. Cryptococcus neoformans, Aspergillus fumigatus and Candida albicans. These are all critical priority, nothing to explain. These are some names to memorize. Try to memorize, but because it is multiple choice question, you don't have to actually remember along with the pronunciation, proper spelling and all. If you can recognize them, that is fine. Okay. Next one, high priority group. They will also impact the public health but not as much as the critical priority fungi. Okay. Examples: Candida family and Mucorales. Okay. Mucorales, these are the ones which caused the black fungus infection during COVID-19. Okay. Mucorales, right? Then priority group. Example, okay, coccidioids and Cryptococcus gatti are the examples. Okay, then moving on to the next topic, that is, okay, Agni 5. The next topic we are discussing is Agni 5. India test fires Agni 5 ballistic missile. Okay, first, what do you mean by a ballistic missile? A missile that will jump like this. I mean, it will follow a parabolic path. Such missiles are called as ballistic missiles. Okay. With multiple warhead means what? One missile can carry many warheads or can attack many targets. Many targets. Is it clear? Let me show you this path, the path of this. A regular ballistic missile will move like this, but Agni 5 can move like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, and then not only that, it can come back also. Okay, MIRV, okay, means multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicle. Okay, so if you observe the name MIRV, okay, it means, okay, this is not only hitting one target. Okay, it will hit the first target. Look at here, it will hit the first target, then it will go on to the second target, third target, fourth target, so on. I did not have enough space. It can hit up to 100 targets. Okay, or sorry, may not be 100. The exact number is given here. Okay, 2 to 12 targets. It can carry up to, okay, it can carry 2 to 12 warheads. So it can hit 2 to 12 targets. 12 targets it can hit and then come back. Then you may ask me, can it come back to the place of the launch? No, not coming back to the place of the launch, but it will re-enter. The Earth's atmosphere. Is it clear? It will re-enter the Earth's atmosphere. Okay. So it will hit multiple targets and then re-enter into the Earth's atmosphere. From the exo-atmosphere, it will come back into the Earth's atmosphere. So that is called as MIRV technology. So because I already explained it, let us go through this. The Prime Minister announced the first flight test, Mission Divyastra. Okay, this Agni 5 was also called as Mission Divyastra, of made in India Agni 5 missile with multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicle technology. MIRV is a ballistic missile designed for exo-atmosphere. It will go into the, this is exo-atmosphere. It will go into exo-atmosphere, but it will come back, okay, into the Earth's atmosphere. I hope it is clear. Okay. Exo-atmospheric deployment housing multiple warheads, each capable of targeting distinct targets spaced hundreds of kilometers apart. I mean, if this is 100 kilometer, this can be 200 kilometer, this can be 400 kilometer, okay, like that. I mean, the targets are also not close to each other. It can hit the targets which are placed hundreds of kilometers apart from each other. I hope it is clear. Okay. Advantages. It can release multiple warheads and thereby reduce the number of missiles and launch facilities required. Instead of 20 launches, one launch can hit the 20 targets. Right? Then, with the MIRV, the effectiveness of anti-ballistic missile system relies on intercepting individual warheads is also reduced. I mean, okay, enemy's country will try to intercept. Intercept means what? Stop our missile when our missile is in the air. That capacity also will be reduced. I mean, enemy's defense mechanism cannot detect our Agni 5. So therefore, they cannot intercept our Agni 5 when it is in the air. Okay. So that is that advantage. No special disadvantages. Okay. This is a list of what other countries have MIRV technology. Facts to remember, nothing to explain. Okay. What other countries have MIRV technology, and I strongly advise you to attend all these Conquer Prelim sessions because I will be explaining the topics in detail. Not only that, giving also the notes in detail. Okay, not only the topics which I explained, some other facts are also kept. It's a holistic notes, okay, not a regular commercial notes available in the market. Okay, so these are all the countries that have MIRV technology. Then what are the key features of Agni 5? 50,000 kilograms weight. Height is 1.75 meters, diameter is 2 meters, okay, and then 1650 kg warhead it can take. It is a 3-stage rocket will launch it. It can carry 2 to 12 warheads, speed 25 Mach. 25 Mach means 25 times the speed of the sound. Okay, equipped with advanced navigation system called as NAVIC. Launch flexibility, more mobile launchers. I mean, you can also launch Agni 5 from a mobile launcher. From a moving vehicle also you can launch it. Is it clear? Agni 5 trajectory and thermal resilience. As it re-enters the Earth's atmosphere, okay, see, Earth is having very dense atmosphere. So when it comes back to the Earth's atmosphere, that is somewhere here, it will experience very high air resistance. This resistance will create friction. That friction will increase the temperature up to 400 degrees Celsius. This can melt the object which is coming down. Is it clear? So, though the temperature is 4000 degrees Celsius, though the external temperature is 4000 degrees Celsius, Agni 5 is having a thermal resilience. Agni 5 will not heat up. Its internal temperature will be maintained below 50 degrees Celsius. Is it clear? Okay. Clear till now? Next and the last topic in today's session. Square kilometer array observatory. 10th January Indian Express. India formally signed up for the Square Kilometer Array Observatory, a multinational initiative to build what is Square Kilometer Array. This is world's largest radio telescope. This is world's largest radio telescope. What do you mean by radio telescope? It can detect radio waves. A telescope that can detect the radio waves from astronomical sources. It can detect radio waves from the astronomical sources. Therefore, we call it as radio telescope. Like a telescope only, but a regular telescope will detect the light waves, but it will detect the radio waves from the astronomical sources. That is the difference. For example, we have some James Webb Space Telescope that may detect the light waves, it will detect the radio waves. Then, but it is not one radio telescope, it is an array. Array means what? Many radio telescopes. And that are spread across a square kilometer distance area. A square kilometer area, several radio telescopes are kept. Therefore, it is called Square Kilometer Array Observatory. I repeat, what is this? This is a radio telescope. Radio telescope means what? An instrument that can detect the radio waves coming from the astronomical sources. Is it a single radio telescope? No. This is an array. Array means a group of radio telescopes which are spread across one square kilometer region area. Therefore, it is called Square Kilometer Array Observatory. This is the world's largest radio telescope spanning over a square kilometer. The SKAO is a vast collection of thousands of telescope antennas at a site in South Africa and Australia. These will interconnect as a single giant telescope array. All of them are interconnected and works like a single telescope telescope. Is it clear? It will enable astronomers to probe celestial phenomena out to extreme distances. It can also detect the radio waves coming from extreme distances. And a radio telescope is used to detect the radio waves from astronomical radio sources in the sky. That is about Square Kilometer Array Observatory. And that's all for today's session. I hope you found this useful. And this is a part of the phase 1 of our Conquer Prelims 2025. We covered some important topics, from January to May 2024. In tomorrow's session also I will cover the current affairs from January to May 2024 only. 10 more topics, 10 more most important topics from that time span. Thank you so much.